We've just spent 48 hours in Mostar, and this is everything that we did. Mostar is a beautiful 15th century town in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and the first thing we had to do was stroll around the old town centre to see the beautiful Ottoman architecture and cobbled streets. We headed to see the most famous landmark in town, which is the beautiful Ottoman Stari Moss Bridge. And as we climbed it, we did our best to avoid decking it because the stones here are unbelievably smooth and slippy. So we made it to the top to see the turquoise flowing river below, as well as the bridge divers that were jumping off it into the river. Of course, we had to say hello to the Mostar mousers and stop for a drink with a view of the bridge. And I personally would only recommend stopping for a drink at these restaurants with the views of the river because, of course, they're a little bit more touristy and a bit pricey, but a great place to soak up the sun with the view. We then mooched around more of the town, and I loved how little and windy all the streets were here. We then spotted this man kissing and tossing baklava to the fish, which couldn't feel more Bosnian if it tried. Then it was time for dinner at a restaurant recommended by our Airbnb host. We were saving to try javapi at another place, so we decided to go for my favourite, which is sea bream, and trout, which is common fish caught in the local river here. Really enjoyed both of these, and with a lovely view of the river, but clearly there was some home comforts on my mind.
Jacket potatoes.
We then headed for a sweet treat, and whilst chocolate bast cheesecake isn't an authentic Bosnian dessert, this was recommended by a local here, and it absolutely banged. And even better, we were entertained by the local furry riffraff.
This is the best night of my life.
Then the next morning we stopped at a local bakery just to grab some Burek before heading to see the Kravica Waterfalls. But on the way there we stopped at a pretty old town of Počitelj, and we climbed to the top for an amazing view of the village. We then arrived at the top of the waterfall where we tucked into our Burek. And again, the Burek here is simple, cheap, but the local bakeries make absolutely banging Burek, and it's perfect for breakfast or lunch. And then, wow, this was the main Kravica Waterfall, and it's absolutely incredible. Probably the biggest, grandest waterfall I may ever see, and often referred to as the Niagara of Bosnia. So we lay at the bottom of it and managed to take about a 3-second dip because the water was absolutely freezing, but refreshing nonetheless. And here you can have an ice cold beer whilst watching the waterfall, and it's just pure bliss. Back in Mostar, we headed out for the evening, and I feel like by this point of the trip, I'm about 90% beer. We then headed to a restaurant that was recommended by one of you guys, so shout out to Travelling with Tom, where we had this incredible grilled platter. It had javapi, it had grilled chicken, sausages, we had skavica, which are these traditional beef patties. There was feta, kajmak, grilled peppers, just absolutely everything. My absolute favourite is ajvar. Ajvar is delicious. It's a sweet red pepper dip, and you must try it if you can. I particularly love the sausages, strangely. They were so good. And of course, I had to finish it off with a perfect bite of bread, javapi, kajmak, ajvar and onion. Delicious.